There's almost like nothing to interrupt my enjoyment of the cookie. So it's just like butter, flour, sugar. I'm Yewande, and today I'm making ginger hibiscus-spiraled cookies. I picked this because the colors and the flavors remind me of the holidays. The hibiscus gives like a deep ruby red color in the pinwheel. Hibiscus is also a really strong flavor, and you have to sort of match it with other strong flavors so the other flavors don't get lost in it. I don't really enjoy frosting or like piping cookies. As pretty as they look, it's kind of not my style. And so I was trying to think of a cookie that was decorative but easier to do. I really wanted you to bite into the cookie and say, oh wow, this really is tart, it's really flavorful, and I really get the hibiscus. This is something to like celebrate the holidays with. The cookie dough is a shortbread base spiked with ground ginger and some candied ginger. The first step to making your dough is creaming your butter and sugar. Your butter should be at room temperature just to make it easier to cream. You can use a stand mixer, you can use a handheld mixer. I want to say you could use your hand. Like, I don't have the energy to use my hand to do that. But if you do, as long as you get it light and fluffy. I think the creaming of the butter and sugar really helps the final texture of the shortbread. It makes it really melt in your mouth. I'm starting on low, but the more the sugar incorporates into the butter, the faster I'm gonna get it to go. You wanna do this for about 3 to 5 minutes. While this is going, I'm going to combine my dry ingredients. You want 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger, and then I'm gonna chop about 2 tablespoons of candied ginger. You're just getting them into bite-sized pieces. I'm gonna stop the mixer and scrape down the bowl and let it go again. You could still see that it's a bit gritty. I could feel the sugar. It's another 2 minutes or so. The egg goes in after this, and then my dry ingredients. And you're just doing this till it's incorporated. You're not beating it. And then my flour mixture. There's a lot of scraping involved because you're trying to make sure you don't forget any ingredients. You'll see the dough kind of clumps together as one piece. So you wrap this in a piece of plastic wrap and refrigerate it for 30 minutes to 1 hour until the dough's firm. You're gonna smush it together when you wrap it up. So while your dough's chilling, I'm gonna make the hibiscus filling. I'm choosing these loose hibiscus tea leaves. So I'm gonna grind these in the spice grinder because I don't want you to bite on a tea leaf that size. If you can't find loose leaf hibiscus, you can also use hibiscus tea bags and just open up the tea bags and measure 2 tablespoons. I found that most hibiscus in tea bags have other things like rose hips or ginger added to it. And so you want to get a hibiscus tea that's just hibiscus. This is called the silent vortex. The winter is so bleak that you want bright things around you. Hibiscus gives like a deep ruby red color, and so you'll see it when we bake them. It's just really inviting. So you just need 1 tablespoon of orange zest for flavor, 3 tablespoons of turbinado sugar. When the sugar bakes, it becomes deeply caramelized and intensifies the flavor of the hibiscus and the orange. So my filling's made, and I just took the chilled dough out of the refrigerator. I do this between 2 sheets of parchment because it's less messy, but it also keeps the dough from sticking. I put a little bit of flour in the parchment, so I'm pushing down as I roll. You want it to be about 1/4 inch thick. So because there's like a bunch of cracks, I'm gonna fix my dough. And that's literally just cutting off some pieces and smushing it. Okay, so I'm at 12 and 8. So I just need to roll it out about 1 inch more. So the next step I'm gonna do is just make the edges straight. I'm gonna make an egg wash, brush the dough with it. So you're brushing the entire surface of the dough. This is really just for the filling to stick on. You're gonna leave about a 1/2 inch space on the edge, because when you roll your dough, it's gonna stick to that edge. And push it in a little into the dough. It smells really good. You wanna get your filling right up to the edge closest to you, because that's like the very center of the cookie. At this point, your dough should be nice and pliable and easy to roll. The parchment's kind of your friend at this stage. So what I like to do is kind of like run my hand on the bottom and bend it up, push the dough on itself. And because this is the center of the cookie, I like press it down. I really want it like a nice tight spiral. I'm sort of using the edges of the parchment, doing that as I go, pushing it down to make sure it really sticks. And then the last little bit, you kind of just fold over the edge. So I'm just gonna wrap it on itself. Make sure I have a nice round dough. So I'm gonna keep this in the parchment and then put the log in the oven. Don't put it in the oven. Put the log in the refrigerator to chill some more before you slice it. If it doesn't fit in your refrigerator because it's too long, just cut it in half. So I've chilled the rolled cookie. I'm gonna start with like cutting it in half because I think it's just easier to manage. So I'd say that's about 1/2 inch. So if you notice that your spiral isn't tight enough, you can unroll it and then roll it back into a circle. They don't really spread that much. They spread a little bit because of the butter in it, but you can leave about a 1/2 inch space between the cookies so they don't touch. So now I'm gonna put the cookies in the oven until just light golden brown around the edges. Once you take them out the oven, let them sit for about 5 minutes on the parchment and on the hot sheet pan, and then transfer them to a wire rack. So you want the cookies to be just a light golden brown. That's like a perfect little guy. So I think the first thing that hits your palate is the ginger, and then you get the tartness from the hibiscus and some like floral notes from the orange, but it's really good. I think that this is a really, I want to say approachable. It feels like a really approachable dough. The filling's really straightforward and easy to put together. It adds this like colorful feel to like your holiday spread. They're also really cool because if you've rolled out the dough into the log, you can save it in the freezer for up to a month. If you have people coming over, you could slice and bake them to order so they're nice and fresh. So there's a lot of reasons why this would make a very functional, great holiday treat. Happy baking. So this recipe and all the other Cookie Week recipes can be found on NYT Cooking.